Hey, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I am one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got DJ D Miles.
What's good, what's good?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
We got a special guest here, my long lost brother, my brother from Philly, who's one of the biggest promoters in New York right now. But when I first met him, he was one of the worst promoters in New York.
He's coming long. He's come a long way. Damn.
So it's actually a real pleasure to have him here because we never get to have Asian or Korean guests on here.
With a beard on.
So he might be the first Korean guest.
He's not the first one.
First Korean guest.
Isn't
Yeah, he's gonna say something stupid.
No, who's the kid that worked at Marvel? Your boy.
Who worked at Marvel Comics?
He did the TV show.
Oh.
Yeah, he's Filipino.
Okay. So James, congratulations.
I knew he'd say what I'm saying. I knew he was gonna say something.
He's talking about Elaine.
I knew he was gonna say some ignorant ass shit.
Ignorant.
Yeah, it is. he looks nothing like a
looks
Korean
Filipino,
person.
bro.
Yeah, he looks Filipino as fuck.
Well, I've heard my name multiple times being referenced here, so I'm glad to finally actually be here in person to,
Yeah.
Yes.
say
Yeah.
something.
Well,
You guys-
it's good to have a fellow Korean brother over on the show.
Yes.
And actually, like one of the only, if very few, if only, I think you're one of the only Koreans I know in nightlife. Yeah.
Besides yourself?
Besides myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be wrong. But let me introduce you.
Yeah.
Well, let's welcome James Hwang. James Hwang.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm mispronouncing your name.
Yes.
It's Hwang.
I was gonna
It's
say.
Hwang.
It's Hwang.
It's
Hwang.
As
Yeah.
Dong,
I like
right?
Wayne better.
I was done.
James Hwang.
Hwang.
The first time we mentioned him was when you were trying to grow out your beard, and we said the only Asian you know with a beard is James.
James Hwang.
Yeah.
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 I like Hwang. Making
Wayne
sound
sounds better,
You
right?
call me whatever you want to call me,
Hwang,
Rich.
Hwang sounds like he's
I'm going to call
like,
you Richard, not crooked.
Yeah, you can call me Dick if you
Richard.
want to.
Pause.
Yeah, motherfuckers call me
Dick.
Dickie,
Dick.
you know,
Dick
all
son.
that shit.
Dickie son.
Dick son.
Anyway, James, what's good, man?
Not much, man.
How's you running New York now? What's up? I heard you running shit in New York.
I'm not running shit. I'm just
Big
you know,
time
just-
Korean gangster and
just-
just running shit in New York. What's
just
good?
doing what I've been doing, just doing it to a different level. And, I mean, things are open now. And yeah, just.
You being humble.
Big
He's
time.
being
Big
humble.
time. Yeah.
So I don't remember how we met. What a surprise.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Surprise,
shit. My
surprise.
memory is always the worst.
I think we met through Sean Perry.
Sean,
I
I
think
think
I
we
told
met
you
through
that.
Sean Perry.
Yeah.
Sounds
Good
about-
old Sean.
Good old Sean.
And then,
Shout out to
Good old
Sean,
Sean.
man.
And then
So
that
I was in Vegas already. So I moved to Vegas in 2005. I left New York, and I was probably visiting Sean, and we hung out maybe, and he introduced you.
Yeah. And you said anytime you go to Vegas, probably hit up you.
All right. So I was always shocked because you were like the only Korean dude in nightlife with me,
Yeah. No.
and I was
mean,
like, yo, I gotta stick with this dude. Like,
yeah. When you met me,
My brother.
when you met me, I was deeply entrenched into that scene, which was Asian parties.
You were doing Asian parties.
Yeah, I wasn't doing what I was now. I was transitioning at that time. So I remember you came to my Asian parties I used to run at Hero Ballroom on Fridays.
Yeah.
So I remember you coming with your camera, and you just being like, "Oh my God, you've never been around that many Asian people."
No,
and,
I
and that
haven't.
was
Well, you came in with a camera?
yeah. He was taking pictures and stuff.
Oh,
Remember
shit.
that?
Well, I was doing like a blog at the time for my clothing brand, clothing line, clothing store, New.
Oh, okay.
So I was like taking pictures and doing the blog series, like,
Oh, that's dope,
because
that's
I was traveling a lot, and I'm like, yo, this is like, But I've always been intrigued by Asians, right? No, because
Please break that down.
because I've never grown up with Asians. Do you
Oh.
understand? And I've never really been accepted by Asians.
Yeah.
So I've never been in a large group of Asians.
Which is weird because they look at you and they probably look at, oh, that's just a normal
yeah,
Korean dude
yeah,
wearing a beanie or a hat.
right.
Which at that time a lot of people didn't do. It wasn't like you had to dress up, at that time. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
people, it wasn't really accepted in the mid 2000s to be wearing sneakers and jeans and hats.
Well, the thing is, like, I would look like a bum when I went to clubs, but that was like because everyone dressed the fuck up, right? Everyone was in a collar
That was the
shirt.
button-up shirt era. Right?
Yeah,
Everyone was
definitely.
like collar
Definitely.
shirt, probably
Hard bottoms.
Kenna Cole shoes or some shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I was when I was throwing my own parties in Philadelphia, I would make my whole team dress up in suits.
Yeah.
I said, like, you cannot wear hats, you can't wear sneakers or Timberlands or any gym athletic wear that is pretty much look at me. What I wear now.
Yeah.
That was the biggest flex for me. Like when I started really killing it, like doing well in New York, I would go to the clubs in shorts and flip flops.
He lying.
No, you did
I swear to
not.
God.
You're fucking lying.
And they would let me in. That was always a flex. And you know who was the hardest?
Flip flops, no socks.
No socks, just walking in. I would wear like
Wow.
shorts, flip flops, and
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to come to New York and hang out with him. He get in the club with flip flops and shorts, and I'm just like, really, man?
but that was a flex though because everyone
man.
online would be
Wow.
like, "What the? Why are you fucking letting this Cambodian
I wanna
looking
say, what was
motherfucker
that?
inside?" Right?
Was it elephant or was
Pink
that the
Elephant?
Pink
It
Elephant.
could've been
Yeah,
anyone.
that was
No
one of the
way.
events. Yeah,
And
one of
the
spots.
biggest flex was Was because Was is the tough at the door.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I went to the door with Was,
He's still the toughest.
No,
Yeah.
once you cool with him, that's
Yeah.
a big flex.
That's a
man.
big.
Shout out to
you know
Was.
what, man?
Was. I love
Shout out to
Was.
Was. And he's also one of my favorite. Every time I see him in a movie or TV show,
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, fucking Was.
Same
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He was in he was in a good one with Mickey Rourke, right? The wrestler.
Yeah,
Wasn't he
yeah,
the wrestler?
Yeah.
He was.
He's
in
the brother, right?
Real
he was
quick,
the manager. Or
real,
some shit,
real
right?
quickly, he you know he has his own band, right? He
Yeah.
does the shows and stuff with Noah Tepperberg's brother Ricky. Anyways, like he'll invite you to a show, and if you don't show up, he'll remember. I swear to God, he'll remember, and you'll show up to the door, and he'll just ignore you. So one time that happened to me, I got really busy with a client, and I couldn't go, and I was like, I felt so bad. I was texting my friends who were already there, like, how was it? He's like, oh, it's almost finished. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna miss it. I show up to Little Sister that night. He deaded me for like 10 minutes.
Damn.
Deaded me. Like he looked through me like multiple times, right? And then finally came up to me. He's like, "Yo, so what happened to you earlier?" I was like, "Wow, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had a client. I had to be out, man. I'm so sorry. I'll make it up to you." It's like, "I'm sure you will." And then he let me in.
Yeah.
But I was cracking up the whole time because I knew that dude, he doesn't forget anything.
So yeah,
Forget anything.
Was works with Tao Group Properties, right?
Uh-huh.
And Noah Tepperberg, like you mentioned his
Yeah, yeah.
name, that he's like partner,
Mhm.
co-owner of
The boss.
Tao Group with Jason Strauss and a bunch of other
Your former
motherfuckers.
bosses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much, especially in New York.
Yeah.
And they own like Marquee Avenue, Beauty
Yeah,
Essex,
they're the top
Yeah.
top hospitality group.
Tao,
in,
yeah.
arguably the world. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
arguably the world.
Especially when they merged with MSG.
And Hakkasan Group now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now Hakkasan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I mean, they are the biggest if you think about it, really.
especially in Vegas.
Oh,
they're,
no
doubt,
they're
for
definitely
sure.
the biggest.
Yeah,
so
for
we
sure.
have to watch what we say.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to be very
James
very
Hwang
careful.
loves Tao Group.
Hashtag.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I came back to New York, and I think I was going to Little Sister, which is like the new Tao Group property, right?
No, it's not. It's one of the last ones they open up pre-pandemic. I think they opened in 2019. Could be 2018.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of the hot spots in New York City because
Yeah.
there's just a lack of other places that play that kind of music, which is predominantly hip hop and
Yeah.
exclusive. You know, they have Was at the door, which you know,
Right.
gives it obviously a certain type of legitimacy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
There's no One Oak right now. There's no Avenue right now. There's no, a lot of these places that were options for people to go to. It's right now just Little Sister, so they're pretty busy Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So none of those venues gonna be open, like the One Oak Avenue.
Well, Avenue's demolished. The whole building's been taken down.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
One Oak is I think just having some legal issues opening up, but
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Up and Down is done.
up and down is they've been saying it's been done for a long time.
Since last year. The fucked up thing that, like, obviously post-pandemic, a bunch of clubs owed a bunch of motherfuckers money.
Yeah, including
Yeah.
I mean I was owed money for sure.
Hey, yo, I had a serious conversation with Sujit, and I said, if anyone calls from any clubs that want me, do not bring up the balance,
Right.
because that's the last thing that these motherfuckers want to hear
Yeah,
about is the
yeah.
fucking balance.
Yeah.
And then, like anything, let's get them open, let's get everything going,
And then revisit.
and then revisit it in
Yeah.
like a month or two when they get a better idea,
Yeah.
when they get their better footing, because they're like, they're trying to adapt to the mandates and staff.
Obviously I was in a similar position, and I was just ready to work when I was able to, right? But a lot of these places they came at you with like, can you work for this, which was obviously a cut
Yeah.
rate, and most people had to take it because they had no other option, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the same thing in Vegas, but in New York City, anything that opened up, it was just like bananas. It was like everybody wanted to go to that place. As soon as the place opened up, it was just like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if that shit was like whack pre-pandemic. As soon as it opened up, there's a line down the block and it's sold out. And so it's like, okay, well,
Wow.
this promoter, this DJ is getting paid less. and you guys are making like money that you probably didn't make before the pandemic, right? It's kind of, I don't know, that's just.
Yeah.
But I've been talking to like some operators in the clubs, and they owe a lot of money. They owe a lot of back rent. Some of them.
But they also got like PPP and stuff. No,
yeah, but some of them got to pay that shit back. Not all of it was used for payroll and shit like that. So there's all these things that come into play.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. Honestly, you don't know.
You don't know operations. That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's like,
you just know what you know and what you see, right? So
But I will say that New York DJ rates are like the lowest. Some of the lowest in the country.
It's historically been that way.
It's always been like that.
I mean,
Why is
you were telling me back in the day what you were getting paid, and I'm like, in New York, and I'm like, wow, like people are striving to get that right now.
Son, like for the DJ rates to be worse than when I was DJing in the 2000s, and maybe when he was DJing in the late 90s,
2000s.
And the value of the dollar has probably gone up since.
Yeah, inflation,
like, it's insane.
Rent, all that stuff.
So
right?
like, put it this way, like when I was starting out, I don't know about Never, but when you hit $500 a night, you was a top tier DJ.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
500 was like when you hit that ceiling, and you were getting 500 a night in New York. You were like, yo, I made it. Like,
which is
crazy. But here's another thing. I don't know if you was getting this, but I was getting that amount with no time. I was getting cash.
Yeah, cash.
No checks or nothing. So
yeah. No. See, I was the era of checks. Okay. Yeah. I was the era.
No, that's like before I came to Vegas. That's when it started.
Now it's Venmo and Zelle and Cash App.
Is that how they're paying them now?
I mean, that's what they do in the pandemic.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But yeah, I mean, if you can get 500 right now in New York City, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow,
that's crazy. It's. I'm like default like a lobbyist sometimes for DJs because obviously I walk that fine line of being a promoter / working with the operating side and I have the ear of the people that are the managers, the GMs, the whatever, right? Yeah. And I'm the one pushing a lot of guys in or trying to push a lot of guys in. And then, when I knew of the rates that people were getting when things started opening up, it was like, holy, like I can't ask this guy to do something for 300 to 350. It's like I feel bad saying that, right?
Yeah.
And all I'm doing is trying to like get them up to 500, which again should be the starting conversation in my opinion. But yeah.
So you're actually fighting to get more money for the DJ.
It's weird. It's weird. They come to me because they know that I have the ear of these guys who can make decisions, and they're like, it's just a battle sometimes, because I have to take both sides, because I'm not gonna be like, I'm going to fall on the sword for a guy to make $50, $100 more dollars. But in my idea, I'm like, okay, we could just sell a couple bar tabs and that's $100, $200. You know what I mean? Like I've always been like, we should compensate people. If the place does well, we should compensate the promoters, the DJs, right? If the place does well, who makes more money? The owners, the people that work there, like the service people, the bartenders, the staff. Yeah. But like, there's no COVID DJ fund. There's no COVID promoter fund, right? You know what I mean? So like whatever. I mean it's something that I just want to make sure. Like, look, I've always said if I work someplace and they don't make money, I don't want to get paid. Like I don't want to take when no one else is making money. Yeah, it's the way I've always been. But
so wait, in your opinion, why are the rates so low in New York? In your opinion, or like if you can enlighten us onto why they are so low.
I think if you go to any operator or someone that runs a nightclub, they're gonna be like, why should this person get paid more? You know what I mean? Like if someone is getting paid $1,000 to $1,500 to do Vegas, if they come to New York City, are they going to get paid $1,000 to $1,500? They're probably not. And because there's 100 other people who would take that $400, that $500, right? And in their eyes, the product is pretty much the same, even though to you guys it may not be. And to me, it's definitely not, right? Because I know the difference between a guy who's a professional and a guy who, is newer and doesn't know how to, play a crowd. You know what I mean? He'll get stuck and you'll just see the air go out of the room and you're like.
So on the operator side, the oversaturation is like, well, I could just get the next guy.
Yeah.
Well, there's an oversupply of DJs, right?
And you couldn't even, look, you were there in 2005, right? And you left and you were getting paid X amount. Who knows? Maybe.
When I left, right? If like, this is when you hit the ceiling in New York. I was getting $1,000 for a Saturday in New York.
Which is great.
A Friday and a Saturday, I was getting $1,000. You can't get more than that in New York at that time. Yeah. So at that time, I was like, yo, I was like, yo, I'm doing Ruby Falls. I'm getting the G. I'm getting the G at PM, right? On Gansevoort.
Hot nightclubs, by the way.
Yeah. And I'm doing, and on my off nights, on weekdays, you get like 500 or 750.
Yeah.
So like I was making good money. So in New York, so I was like, yo, like I hit the ceiling and this is all I can make.
Well,
so I need to
maybe
go to
when you
Vegas.
left,
Yeah.
then other people came. They couldn't get that rate, and then it just slowly went down.
Nah, I think the rate was good until maybe after 2008.
Recession, maybe?
Recession.
Yeah, and then it never went back up.
It never went back up.
I mean, you could be right.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be right, honestly, and that's where it's unfortunate because I feel like there needed to be more of the top name guys being like, "Yo, none of us should take less," you know, like none of us should take less. And in a way, when you know nightlife started back up in New York City, and I know these promoters were getting cut rates, I told them I was like, "Yo, if you can, don't take it." I didn't take it. I didn't take shit.
Right.
I was like, I'm not working for anything less than what I should get paid. I won't work. I'll go there for free, and I'll support. You know what I mean? Like I would not let myself go down. And like, did I need the money? Hell yeah. You know, I didn't work last year like a lot of us didn't. You know, so.
But you was grinding last year.
Last year?
Yeah, you was last year. You was doing. I saw you hustling.
No,
son.
no.
You was son.
No, not
You was one of the
not-
first motherfuckers I saw on a plane going to Miami.
No.
You was doing.
I legit went to Miami. The first time I went to Miami was when they stopped indoor dining again in New York City. I stayed in New York the whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't leave. From March until November, I stayed the whole time. And I was doing this Tuesday dinner party at this place that I don't want to say. And I was just doing it.
Wait,
for
what
like,
do you mean you don't want to say?
I don't want to say it. I don't talk about
Wait. So wait.
I was just doing this. I was doing this spot. And like legit, I was making $100, maybe $200, right?
Some like speakeasy shit.
No, it was a club, but they rebranded as a dinner, like a dinner party, because they had to serve food, right?
Right.
And I would just do it just so I had something to do with my friends.
So it's just like a underground.
No, it wasn't underground at all. It was totally
No?
legal. It was like you had to go in. You had max 10 people per table. You all had to wear a mask until you sit down and eat, right?
Right.
I think I know
And
this
and they would play music, and like slowly throughout the night it would like turn up, and like for an hour it might feel like a nightclub with like 25 people.
Okay.
And like legit,
Was
I
it
would
a
just,
spot I DJ that before?
no.
Okay.
No. Meat packing though. But anyways, so I went there and every Tuesday, and I would just get like my friends together, invite a couple girls, and we would have a dinner there. And the operating hours in New York City were like, what was it, like 12 a.m. And then it was like I think 10 p.m. And then it closed, right? And when it closed, it was the winter. And I was like, yo, F this. I'm not eating outdoors in the winter. So that's when I started going to Miami. I was like, this is as long as indoor dining is closed in New York City, I'm not going to stay in New York City like every week. I can't do it. I'll get depressed. So I started going to Miami.
But like all these New York motherfuckers were going to Miami.
Oh yeah. Everyone. I mean,
Because
everyone.
like I remember we called you one time for an
Oh yeah,
episode.
yeah. And I was in Miami.
Because I was looking at your Instagram stories.
Yeah, I was in Miami.
And y'all was turning
And
up.
it was culture shock to me too. I remember the first time I went to a club there, and I was like, oh, no one's wearing masks. I was like, there's no social distancing, because like all I knew was New York City, and
Right.
New York City we got hit as hard as anybody, and people were just scared to do anything indoors. I wasn't going to any apartment parties. I would hear about these pandemic parties. I never went. And then like I when I got back, because I wasn't living there, I was just in and out like every other week, just staying at a friend's place or getting a hotel once in a while. But
were you promoting out there?
No.
Tables?
No. There was like a bunch of different pop-ups there from New York people. Like Bounce did a pop-up a few times. It was great to just see like familiar faces.
Right.
I remember the first time I went to Bounce, and Jersey was DJing for a Bounce pop-up party, and I was in
Jersey from Chicago?
Yeah, Jersey from Chicago. Andrew.
Shout to Jersey.
Yeah, I love him. I was just in Chicago last week with him. But I was in the DJ booth with him, and there was a bottle of Casamigos there. And I just did so many shots with people I haven't seen in like a minute, and I didn't know how to control myself. I blacked out because did shots with people, and I didn't remember because I was so happy to be in a familiar place with a bottle of tequila and a table, and like in the DJ booth, which like I'm always in the DJ booth.
Even the motherfuckers you don't like, you're like,
yeah,
let's take a
man,
shot.
fuck it. I'm like,
I
yo.
haven't seen you forever.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
I did shots with so many people, and I just blacked out. I was so like, it was like overload. You know, it's like a.
I recognize you from so and so. Come on, let's do a
Yeah,
shot.
you know how
That's
many,
crazy.
You know how many like deep, passionate hugs I've given to motherfuckers I don't like after
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't seen you forever. I'm like,
So
I hate you.
so
but
it- so it's
good to
weird.
see you.
So it's weird. It's because like in New York City, you couldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
Optics wise, and just logistics, you couldn't be at a place, right?
Yeah.
And so you would see these different people, like from wherever, maybe from New York, but L.A., all these other cities and around the country, and you would see each other out in Miami because Miami for the most part was open.
Yeah.
And so that was like, it was shocking at first, and you had to kind of get used to it. But then after you got used to it, it became normal.
So
You
when
know
you
what I
were in Miami, were you just observing? You were just like having a presence there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
Because I thought y'all were making money. I thought y'all were.
some
booking
people
shit.
were. Some people were. A lot of promoters, a lot of waitresses. Obviously, they all
Yeah.
moved there, and it was a slow process from a lot of them coming back.
Also,
to-
a lot of
Yeah.
New York staff.
Oh
went to
yeah, a
Miami.
lot of the
A
waitresses.
lot of DJs also moved out
Yeah,
there.
DJs,
Yeah.
promoters. I know a lot of promoters that moved there, and they did the whole like, club, the strip club, to like boat parties, the dinner party stuff, which is very like for me just, it's so redundant and basic. But like, but people were living that life every freaking day.
fucking elitist over
No, no, seriously, come on.
So basic.
Come
to
on.
me.
You would see the nightclub, right? And then you see the strip club, and then, blah, blah, 11 or Gold
Right.
Rush or whatever. And then next day you see a boat, and then you see like Kiki's or fucking, what's the other
Kiki's
place?
by the river.
Yeah, Kiki's or
What is it called?
Sea Spice.
BPT's by the river.
You Sea Spice, right? Whatever it's called, right? You
Yeah.
see the same thing over and over again. And then you see Mila with the fire dancer and the freaking this and that. And you're just like, dude, is there another place you guys go to? You know what I mean? Like, people have no imagination. But
It was the pandemic.
It was a pandemic, bro. The world
oh my
was shut
God,
down.
Tulum, let's go to Tulum next. It's like,
But
oh
it
my
was
God.
here.
Yeah.
But I feel like, all right. So like, I visited New York, and I've been talking to you. Obviously, we talked to each other throughout the pandemic and post pandemic.
Mhm.
If it seems like you blew up like after the pandemic, though,
Well,
and I was thinking like, did you? The thing is, like, Never and I would visit New York in the past 10 years, right?
right. And we'd always hang out.
We'd hang out,
Yeah.
but you started becoming our contact for getting into spots,
Of course.
because we didn't. We're in Vegas.
Yeah.
The fucking door guys change unless
Right,
it's
right,
was outside,
right.
but like it started changing and we wouldn't be able to get in.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's been
Yeah.
15 years for you guys actually being in New York City residents, right?
right.
I mean, everything's going to change in 15 years.
Right.
It'll
I mean-
change in 3-5 years,
But
right?
the thing is, as we would go, you started having a little more power. Do you understand? Like the first time you'd be like, "Oh man, I'll
I
see if I
think-
can get us in,"
yeah, of course.
And then later, it should,
and now it's like, yo,
Yeah.
I don't wait more than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he shows up
later,
with shorts
like,
and flip flops.
probably
Too.
Now, yeah.
probably in the last 3 to 4 or 5 years,
Yeah, something like that.
he would be like, "Where you want to go?" And when
Anywhere.
And I'd
Yeah.
be like, "Wait, you have pull
Flex.
anywhere?" And he's like, "I got pull anywhere." Where
No.
before he would be like, "I don't know about that door, but I could get you in here."
Yo,
That's,
you know what I'm
you know,
saying?
you're
The
you're
last
saying that, and it does kind of sound familiar, but okay.
the last time I was in New York, I saw this guy. I'm not gonna name his name, but he used to do the doors like every club in New York back in
Yeah.
the days. He was waiting outside to get in a venue. I guess it was one of your parties, and I walked to the rope. And this is the same guy that used to diss me
Yeah.
at venues back in the days.
Yeah.
Even venues I used to DJ at, this guy would have me wait to get inside the venue.
Yeah, and I know
And
you're
then-
and I
wait,
know
who
who you're talking about, and he should wait. In fact,
And then it was so funny. I saw him. He was like, "Yo, Never, what's up?" I'm like, "Yo, what's good, man?" He was like, "You going in?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, you could get me in." And,
And-
then you came out, and I was
and
like,
I- and
I
I
see what
s-
I could do. And
and
then I asked you, you was just like,
Hell no, fuck that
this
dude, man.
and,
And me and the door guy were like, yo, fuck that dude. Don't let him in,
I
you know what
just
mean?
like, yo, all right, man. Let me see what I could do. Man.
Exactly,
And I
right?
just walked in.
Yeah, that's a flex, right?
Wait, he made you? Yo, that's some New York shit though.
Make you wait when you got a
But this,
DJ.
this
make
was
you
actually
wait when you
it was
DJ.
actually in the Hamptons,
Yeah.
and I was DJing at the spot, and it was my night off, and I was just willing to hang out. And this guy was like, "Yo, wait a minute." He had me waiting like 10 minutes.
Damn.
So then one of the managers came out, and he saw me waiting, and he was like, "Never, why are you waiting outside to get in?" And I was like, "Yo, this homeboy said I have to wait." He pulled the guy aside. He was like, "Yo, don't you ever make Never wait to get into a club. You let him in right away." So he was like, "Yeah, okay."
I think you know, when it comes to that, people definitely they make it more about them than the place. And,
Yeah.
and you could definitely see people who do doors and work in nightlife take it way like too seriously, like it's about them, right?
But I was surprised to see this guy waiting because he's like,
I'm not surprised.
he's in the nightlife
First
industry.
off, it's not the only place that made him wait either. He tried to come to the box one time and like we deaded him.
Wow.
I was like, yo, not happening, man. I don't go to your place.
So wait. Break that down though. Is that just because his reputation, he's mistreated people in his history, and then they just didn't forget, and they started.
I feel like,
and then the tide started changing. Like
I feel like, yo, you're the king of your own castle. Stay at your own castle. Like you don't need to come to my place. You don't need to come to someone else's place unless you come the right way. You know what I mean? Like you're not a light person. You treat people wrong. And I know that.
Yeah.
Why would I go out of my way to like treat you nice? Do you know what I'm saying? Like we're not friends. Do you have my we're not friends. So why should I let you in? You may work in the industry.
You never like want to just be like, let me kill him with kindness.
No,
like,
no, 100% no.
Just throw him a bone. Like,
Let me
be the bigger person.
The pandemic has done nothing but make me more like in touch with people and more empathetic with people. But still, shitty people are shitty people.
Facts.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
I mean, and he's a shitty person. We all know this. Well, I don't want to say no names, but
Leave the names out.
Damn, man.
We didn't even say his name.
bleep. But anyways,
Wait. I got a question though. Just to break down how door guys operate in New York, right? I understand. Like when I remember, when I first started DJing at PM, right? There was the door guy for Unique and Kiki, the promoters. You know them, right? Unique and Kiki's door guy was Aramis.
Oh,
remember
man,
him?
I forgot. Yeah, I know Aramis.
little before my time, but okay.
Yeah, Aramis was like Kumo. He kind of had the Kumo D glasses all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
He was
Yeah, and he was like 7 feet tall,
kind of looked like Seal.
a little bit, but like a
little
thin
bit.
seal,
Yeah,
like a thin
yeah.
seal. So I remember I started DJing at PM, and I would try to go in on my off nights, and then he wouldn't let me in, and I was like, and then like he would literally make me wait for like 30 minutes. And right when I was gonna leave, he would let me in. But he would do this for like maybe 2 months, and then after 2 months, he started just letting me in.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
is that
it's
like
weird.
you have to pay dues or something?
It's weird because I feel like back then, like it was different because doormen had personalities, but now I feel like promoters are running a lot of these places, and you have to be let in if you're with a promoter. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I feel like, every time I work at a place and I see the doorman kind of like doing things for the promoter always, I feel like I don't like that as much. I feel like doormen should let them, it's their job to be the gatekeeper. Mm-hmm. In New York City, there's usually only one guy who can let you in.
Yeah.
Vegas is like 50.
It's a bunch.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch,
Yeah.
right? Any guy with a suit and an earpiece pretty much can let you in,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
In New York, there's usually one guy, and he like says okay or yes or no to everybody, right?
And then he knew everybody.
Yeah, one or 1A, right? There's
Yeah.
usually like one or two people, right?
Yeah.
The host or the doorman, right?
Yeah.
And there's not like 1,000 hosts like that in New York City. So, I miss those days of like, because people look at you and they instantly like, who are you? What are you adding to this place? Like, how are you dressed? You know what I mean? Who are you with? They instantly look at, and that's what I do. I'm scanning the crowd whenever I'm at, a place I work at, and I'm like, who are they with? You know what I mean? Like, are they getting a table? Are they with some fly
Are they gonna
girls?
spend some money?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even mind guys. If you're like some dope guys and you come correct, I'll let you in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, if you're with a bunch of dudes and you're not dressed right, I'm like, not
It's not gonna
happening.
happen.
Not
Yeah,
happening.
of course.
I don't care if you're spending money. I don't want you in here.
Mhm.
Hopefully, you know what I mean? I don't have to take it in, but
Jamie, what are you adding to the room?
I'm just taking up room at this point.
yeah.
I'm not adding
it's a
anything.
harsh way to think about it, but it's a value add.
Wait,
you know?
so back in the day,
I respect it though. Yeah.
I mean, okay, you have no choice. Back in the day, if a promoter went to the door guy and said, "Let these guys in," the door guy could say, "I'll let them in when I let them in."
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Now,
depending on who you were, like you could be the main promoter or the
Right.
top guy, or the guy who's the friends with the owner,
Yeah.
and then you just have more like freedom to let things happen faster. Whereas if you're just a normal guy in the thing, like, and you don't have a great relationship with the doorman,
yeah,
they'll dead your people. And I'm all about that. Why? Just because they know the promoter, they should get in a small room, right? You're taking up space. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they're able to be more selective, let them be selective. That's their choice.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
It's literally an additional buffer. Pretty much, right?
I respect that. When I was coming up, I got deaded all the time. All the time.
I know.
And you know what? It would be like
you have to pay dues, man.
How does it not hurt your ego?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How does it not hurt your ego that your friends can't get in, and you feel bad that your friends can't get in? But like,
you see people coming out the venue, and then you waiting at the vote.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, why you not in there?
You just
That's the worst when they like.
just had to,
Yo, can't get in.
Quickie, you outside? Go in. He's not letting me in, yo.
I can't get past the vote.
That's humbling, though, for sure.
Yo, I never. Go ahead.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's you have to get doper friends, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say I never forget when I first started going to Tao. Before I was even working there, trying to like get in, and I first started working.
Yeah.
The door dude was sweating me, but he was from New York. Chris Jordan, remember Chris Jordan?
Oh yeah.
But he was like seasoning me.
Love Chris
and
Jordan,
like, as we got to know each other, he was hella cool. But those first few times,
No, and it should be. I mean, like
he was like, "What you doing here?"
You should be. I feel like
I think it's like a mutual respect, right?
Yeah.
Because then you start respecting his
Yeah,
job,
I
right?
did.
Yeah.
no, you shouldn't make people feel comfortable too quickly.
Yeah.
Because when you do, they don't come sometimes with respect.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you know there's somebody who's like should know better. And like he's a guy like he's an old school DJ, or he's a guy in nightlife, or he knows he's so and so, right?
Yeah.
But if he's some random dude, a friend or whatever, like, all right, make him wait for a little bit, or say no if you can.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all. I mean, you can't take offense to that. Be like, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
when I used to get deaded before, like I was really into the scene, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah.
What am I gonna go home and cry and like
I used to
hope that next week will be better?
I used to want to fight that dude.
But like you said, eventually you get cool with that
Yeah.
door guy,
Yeah.
and y'all like best friends and shit, man. It's like, yo,
all
come
my
in.
boys that come out with me, they know the door staff so well. They don't need me to go outside. They just come right in. You know what I mean? I don't need to text them and be like, can you get Crooked outside? Can you get Neva outside?
Nah, I always have to tell. I mean, like, you got to come get me. Yo.
Yeah.
I used to hate that when you DJ and they be like, yo, can you come to the door and get me? I'm like, I'm DJing right now. I can't do nothing. Sorry.
I put you on the guest list. Like, oh, they don't have my name.
So wait, now the door guys they're at the mercy of the promoters. Pretty
No,
much?
I feel like just
Depends
like
on the door.
yeah, it depends on the door, but it's definitely just a lot of promoter driven places. And
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't really like promoter driven places. I like places that are a little bit more organic, that like just draw a crowd that like maybe promoters would bring, because it should be more organic. There shouldn't be. I feel like there shouldn't be a room where it's all promoters.
Wait, but you're a promoter.
Yeah, by background. But at the end of the day, like,
So you wait. Explain that though. Explain, like, what kind of a promoter are you? You're not like exclusive to one venue.
well, no. I mean, I do my anything I work with, I try to make an extension of myself, right? Like, I want, when people know that James is involved with the place, they want to know that the crowd is going to be a certain way, the music's going to be a certain way. They have certain expectations, right?
Right.
So even if they're like people that are coming with me or not with me, like, they just know what to expect. I want to brand it that way. It's not like a party by the name, right? But it's like, oh, I work at this place, right? They know what to expect. So like, not a shit show. There's no promoter. There's maybe only one or two guys in that room. You know what I mean? And the rest is just like people coming to just have a good time, and we could be selective with that.
So you align yourself specifically with certain venues.
Yes.
That aligns with your
Yes.
perspective.
Not commercial, more downtown. Yeah.
But this outlook that you have right now, how has it changed from before? Maybe like 10 years ago or 15.
Well,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I think when you start, like, if say you're a promoter, your whole purpose is to bring people, right? And then slowly throughout the years, you get exposed to different people, and then I hate to make it like, I hate to sound like this, but you curate your own, your people you surround yourself with, right? You surround yourself with a lot of DJs. I also surround myself with a lot of DJs, right? But
they're trying to get gigs from you. That's why.
not always.
They're trying to be your friends for the wrong reason.
Not always. But
Yo,
like,
James, man, what's up, man?
You my best friend.
James, you want a drink?
but whenever
Start saying his name right.
Here's my new T-shirt.
James Hwang.
over the years you cultivate different relationships with different people, and then you have to understand how that changes. Like certain places I work with, you have to change your the way you did it. Like when you first met me, I was doing these big Asian parties with 200, 300 people.
Yeah.
And now I don't really have that demographic of Asian people that come out, because like slowly over the years have I changed and worked with different places. I've had to learn what that place needs.
But an Asian crowd in New York is probably like bottom of the barrel in New York standards.
No, I mean,
yes, it
is.
is.
Look, it's weird because there's no Asian parties anymore, really, right? Because now it's more they're in like when I was first in New York and I was doing these Asian parties, I would never go to these commercial nightclubs. I would never go to Marquee or like anything on 27th Street, right? Like Pink Elephant and all this stuff. I couldn't get into in my mind, right? And I wouldn't go with my like Asian friends to these places because in my head, as bad as it sounds, I was like, oh, I won't get in. We won't be accepted, right? Which is different now because like now groups of ethnic groups can go in and out of different places.
I mean, yeah, the doors were mad racist back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
they're probably still a little racist
Yeah,
now.
look, you see like
very racist.
You see a group of 10 black people to come in, like they're not gonna have the easiest time to come in unless they know somebody or they're spending money, right? It's just sometimes the true the brutal reality of clubs sometimes, right?
Right.
And like it's something that you see all the time because of TikTok and stuff. They'll say, "Oh, the door is racist," or "This is racist," right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't say they're wrong sometimes, right?
But you think it's a little more integrated now?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because you'll go to these commercial clubs and it'll be like Vegas where you'll see, look at that group of black people, look at that group of people, Asian people, look at that group of Indian people, whatever, right?
Right.
You'll see more.
But like you said, you can't go on with a group of 10 black people trying to get into a venue.
I mean,
in New York or in Vegas?
Both.
No, Vegas you could do that.
Vegas you do, right?
You
Money
think so?
speaks to you. What do you think Dre's is like? Dre's is a hip hop club. Like,
Other than Dre's.
Oh,
I see like 8,000 tables of just all
Other than
black
Dre's
people.
or the
Yeah.
other venues, that's like
Yeah.
kind of hard. Or you got to wait a
Nah,
while.
I think money talks in Vegas. There's too many venues now.
Vegas, yeah,
they're not
Vegas.
discriminating.
Look, I say it all the
It's
time.
like
like
taxi
this.
cabs, man.
I say this all the time, right? In
New
Vegas,
York.
if you wait in line, eventually you're probably going to get in, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Right?
Yeah.
In New York, if you're waiting in line, you're probably not getting in.
Okay.
Right.
That sounds more reasonable.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's just Vegas, 1,000+ people. New York, 100, 200 people, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's a very
Yeah.
different dynamic.
Yeah, you're talking about these huge rooms in Vegas. Like, yo, like they're not discriminating no more. Like money talks.
Yeah,
So they just let
yeah.
Vegas is like we'll let anybody in. Because remember, like when I first moved out here, they didn't let like big girls in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Damn,
never saw.
You serious?
No,
Fam.
that's real.
Fam, you never
Shit.
saw like you know like
Full
big
upstairs
girls
woman?
out there. You didn't see big girls. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they also didn't let you in unless you were
No.
in black shoes.
I'm about to say, I used to
Yeah.
hear rumors that they used to have these meetings before the club opens. Like, you ain't gonna let a percentage of black people into
That's
the
crazy,
venue.
man.
Yeah.
That's
Damn.
crazy, man.
It's like when All Star Weekend was at this nightclub that we were DJing at. The All Star Weekend, they brought metal detectors for the first time.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was. Just,
I mean,
was just that one thing. I mean, everyone felt safe like a motherfucker, but like,
they
That's
pat
crazy.
you down for every town group venue now.
yeah,
You know, they legit everything.
I heard during
Yeah.
that same weekend, Shaq didn't get in because he had shorts on somewhere.
Well, no, that was
No,
another
that
weekend.
was
That was another weekend?
Yeah, that was another time.
And he
That's
said he
another
was going to
club.
buy the club. It was light. in the
I love
Bellagio.
that.
You're not going to let me in? I'm going to buy this
Yeah,
club.
yeah.
They were like, yeah, good luck. They're like, okay, Shaq, we're big fans. Good luck. Wait, so I want to talk about. I feel like you're making it sound like Asian crowds weren't the worst crowds in nightlife. They were. When a nightclub,
What are you,
son,
What are you telling me?
son, when
what
a
are you asking me to
nightclub,
say?
I'm saying that when a club opened, it was hot. It was dope. It's mostly a white, Jewish, European crowd.
Right.
And then as it starts like getting a little played out, they're like, let's do a Sunday with Black Diamond or Black Party.
Well,
And then
big stand.
Yeah,
Well,
big
it's-
stuff. Wait, and then then they would do like then the club would be open to black people, and then it
Right.
would go to Latin, and then it would go,
Yeah.
and then it would go to like what was before Latin, after Latin. It was probably Asian was
Asian
the Latin,
probably,
and then
yeah.
it was the Asian. There was like a time ticking like. That club's got 8 months.
Damn, bro.
When a club turned Asian, it was like, yo,
Let me
that
tell you what,
club's-
they loved us. Any party, any club that gave us their July 4th, Christmas Eve.
Yo, so talk about Christmas in New York. Christmas in New York, right? Because all the white and black people and Latin people, right? They're all at home with their families. But most Asians are like Buddhists or something, so they don't celebrate
No.
Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then
So you did that night, that Christmas Eve
So
night?
that's Christmas Eve was the only time Asians, were allowed to like party in the good clubs.
No way.
No,
It was
you know,
true.
you know what it was
Because it would, and I would go out on Christmas Eve, and because I was like, I want to see Asian people.
They-
like I never see Asian people, so I
wanna
would go to
see
the,
Asian
I would go to Hero on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve with this
Well,
motherfucker,
they
and I would go to this party.
They would give us like off days, you know, like back then Hamptons was a big thing. So any holiday weekend, they'd be like, our crowd is not here in New York, right? We have to make money.
Yeah.
So who are we gonna give it to? And we
bring your
Yeah.
Asians.
Bring
Yeah.
the Asians in.
because Asians didn't go to the Hamptons at the time. You know what I mean? Like it was
These Asians
whiter
like,
than.
wow, I've never been to Marquee.
Yeah, no, for real. That's without
Hamptons, wow.
without having
Yo.
without having the opportunity to be in those rooms, I wouldn't be here right now. Honestly, you know, because I would never have been going to these marquees, to the Pink Elephants, to whatever, right? And I remember just being exposed to that, and I was just like, this is so cool. I felt so like you would only read about these things in Page 6 or something, right?
So that's how you started going from like when you did Hero. It was an Asian. I forgot. It was like Friday or Saturday.
Friday nights.
Friday
nights.
Friday nights was all Asian,
Right.
and then on the off nights, that's when you started getting to know these operators in the good clubs.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we need the
clubs.
Asians to come on these off nights when everyone.
Well,
I have a question. Was Hero still popping? Like, I remember you used to DJ there, right?
there were.
I
I've seen you there.
I was homies with security, right? So like all my homies, I knew all the security in all of nightlife. Like I knew all of them because like my boy Javier.
Yeah, I know how.
And he owned like the security companies, so I was like cool with him, and I knew everybody. It was like Kevin.
Yeah.
So we would go, Sim too. I forgot Sim.
Yeah.
Shout to Sim
Yeah,
and Kevin and Javier. So I would go to I would go to Hero because that was one of their main accounts in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it did start falling off a little bit, and that's when they started doing the Asian parties.
Yeah. That's when we took over Fridays, probably 2005.
I'm telling you, like a club in New York at that time was not letting Asians into the party unless they had to. Like, you know, like because all the Asians were like from Flushing, Queens, or New Jersey,
Yeah,
like Fort
it was,
Lee,
it
or
was,
whatever.
it was different for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. As soon as I got able to get into these places and exposed to it, I just saw like a different side of nightlife.
Right.
You know, I was only exposed to one thing. It's all I knew, right? And then you get to see something else. And you're like,
And he's like, damn, white girls. Oh shit.
Damn. Where they been hiding at?
Damn. Look at these.
no.
They finally let me in.
Look at the
I was-
blonde hair.
Only shit I read about in New York Magazine.
My God, she's taller than me. They're all
This is
taller
like
than me.
The TV shows.
What are these models?
This is like Sex in the City.
This is like Entourage.
Yeah. So I wanted to get. I got intoxicated. I was like, how do I get involved with this scene? And that's how it started. You know, I had to start all over again in a way.
It was, and then it was like honestly, I forgot how we met though. I don't remember how we met. I was just hanging out, obviously.
Yeah,
We just hung out.
probably around that time when
Yeah.
when I had 1 foot in still in the agency and
Yeah.
1 foot out trying to like get started in the other scene.
Yeah.
Pretty much starting with Pink Elephant, you know, that's where I met like Sean, and I knew that's when I first started meeting a lot of the DJs at the time, you know. A lot of the mood swing guys like Jason Smith, PS1, Sean Perry was in that kind of mix of people. Chachi, and then
Right.
David Barry. You know, all those guys I would meet, and then everybody I would meet was at that Wednesday party at Pink Elephant. You know, that's where I get exposed to like, you know.
So you started coming up in New York during like the DJ AM clone era, kind of.
Yeah.
When everyone in New York started trying to
Yeah.
sound like DJ AM.
0506.
Yeah,
But you didn't
exactly.
know because you didn't know they were.
No,
you didn't
I
know,
mean, you know, you had the MP3s and the mixes, and you're like, oh, that sounds very, very similar.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't mind it. You know what I mean? Because like, it was still fresh to me. It wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna play this next, right? You know, so
But were you like promoters were probably like, yo, like
why not?
like everyone wants to hear AM, so like
Well,
yeah,
open
can you
format,
DJ like AM?
open format. Then I mean, I still feel like open format then was my favorite era of music. To me, it was a lot of fun music.
The
and-
AM era. you're
AM
saying.
era, yeah, AM era. And you could show skill with that. I think it wasn't this mumble rap now that's very slow. You know, there's a lot of more fun music you could play.
I was
So-
gonna ask you what your favorite era was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that mid to late 2000 era.
I feel like you missed like the early 2000s,
Yeah.
which was
It
like
was
the
way
most
better.
bananas era, yo. It was like, I'm actually very, very fucking grateful.
that's the rise of probably bottle service, right? at the
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
and the rise of hip hop in nightclubs,
Mhm.
like in the main rooms. And you know what? I talk with Stone Rock a lot because Stone Rock is he's from New York. Shout out to Stone Rock, and he moved to L.A. I think in the early 2000s, the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, sometimes we talk, and he's like, I fucking regret moving to L.A. because I could have had my start as a DJ in New York during that era, and it was like the best. It was the best era for New York nightlife, in my opinion. Which I might be wrong because the '90s earlier could have been better than that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
It was just as
everyone.
good. Like going from late '90s going into early 2000s. That was just like the best.
You know,
That
I
was
think
amazing.
every era people can be like, yeah, this is the best, right? But you know, we were also very young, a lot younger then, right? When you're in your early 20s, everything's fun.
You know, I was about to say like early '90s. It was definitely a great era to go into clubs.
Yeah.
I wasn't really DJing back then, but when I started DJing like the late '90s, early 2000s, of course I'm gonna say, oh, that was like a dope era because that's
It's
when
also
I first started
different.
getting into
It's also
the
different when you
nightlife.
have experience and you know what's going on.
Mhm.
And when you don't know what's going on, it's like you're just like a civilian. You just go out. You're like, oh wow, look at that.
Yeah.
There's people,
Yeah.
and you don't even know they're promoters, right? Or you don't even know like those people are like paid to be there. And you're like, oh my god, look at those hot people. They're having so much fun or whatever, right? And like you don't know the DJ. I mean, it's
It's all
different.
new to
It's
you.
all new to you, right?
Mhm.
And like I remember when you first started going to Vegas. I remember thinking how cool like light was. I remember how cool like rain was. I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like some people were like, "This is probably trash," but I thought it was so cool getting into Pure for the first time and like waiting in this long line and having to tip the doorman to get in, like because they're all just corrupt over there, right? Everybody, $100. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm not waiting in this line.
Yeah, a lot of motherfuckers got bagged at
Exactly.
Pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys had like pockets lined to their knees, right? Just for tip money. It's crazy, right?
Oh, they had
and they got caught out there eventually.
But you know what I mean?
They had suits tailored
Yeah.
with secret pockets
Yeah.
along the pants.
That's insane.
But I remember going into Tao and Pure and be like, this is amazing, right?
was
And
next
me
level.
now, I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I was like, if I'm not in the,
it's whatever now.
yeah, if I'm not in the DJ booth or VIP, stage, right? I'm not going to that place.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lack of intimacy in big rooms now.
Yeah.
It seems like it's formulaic.
Yeah.
The way big rooms are right
But
now, it's like,
that's-
you know.
That's the only way you make money out here. You
Yeah.
need a big room. You need a big DJ or act to
There's a
kinda sell
couple.
it.
There's a couple of venues that are doing it right, and they're keeping it interesting every fucking weekend, and it's so much work.
Mhm.
And but they're doing it really, really well.
You know, for
know?
me, like in New York, I love working at those small rooms because I can paint a different picture of the way I want to paint it. You know.
See, I miss DJing small rooms. I
Yeah,
miss.
you
know,
came with me a few times, like
Yeah.
to like the Blonde, and right now, like that's my
Like, I want to talk about like kind of this like, because it's kind of a return to an open format era.
Mhm.
Right now, the downtown New York scene
Mhm.
is kind of revisiting that open format era. It's very
Yeah.
different. Like, you know.
Yeah, I think we went through cycles, right? We went through like this short period of electro, and then we went into like this EDM phase, like
Yeah.
house music, like European house, right? And then like all like the Swedish House Mafia and like
Yeah.
Dead Mouse and all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
Where like it was so cool to be that, and it was all about bottle service and get into these clubs. And then we had this total switch to just hip hop, like real hip hop, like just nothing but hip hop. Which again, you know, like I don't know, it's not PC to say it, but there'd be urban parties, and they would be sprouting up everywhere, like these just hip hop parties.
Yeah.
And then that was working for a while, and then now it's kind of like, you know, people want a selection of music.
Well,
They want-
house is coming back.
yeah.
Classics
There's
is coming
places
back,
in New
you
York
know?
City where you're not allowed to play anything past 1984. They don't hear nothing in the 2000s.
Oh wow.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like they're not like any places you've probably heard of, but they're you know, bar lounges, and they just want an old vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that. I go there and I pay for drinks there, and no one knows who I am, but I just like it because it's so different, and I want to you know, be a part of it. I want to listen. I want to experience it, right? And you know, the places that I work at, I want open format. I don't want just hip hop, right? I mean, obviously Sundays at Sapphire are a little bit different because it's a strip club, but you know, the other places I work at, like I want them to play 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and also play current too.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I want them to play the whole thing up and down, right? And when you're really good at that, it's amazing because you can have that crowd just like, you can go through so many emotions with a crowd, you know?
It's a little jaunting, some of it, because it's like a new style of mixing where sometimes the BPMs don't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, of
and
course.
Then, and then it's just abruptly going
Slamming
from
the
like
records.
it's like going abruptly from ABBA into
Mhm.
like Migos.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, but as a DJ, you're kind of like it's
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak technically wise, but
Yeah.
yeah, it probably is against a lot of stuff that you do know about beat matching and
Right.
all that stuff and transitions. But like, it is kind of like a cardiac, like a just a a jolt. But boom,
Yeah.
you're like let's get the crowd engaged.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit,
It's it's kind of like, I think the problem is that sometimes the old way of DJing, or like the open format, maybe like some of the DJs are just too predictable. Like the mixes become too predictable. Like when a DJ plays Hot Boy, they play ooh, right?
Yeah.
Or like when they do this, it goes into another
Yeah.
song, into another song, into another song.
So do you
You know?
almost have to like tell yourself to like be less technical?
Yeah,
Like you
But-
almost have to fight against yourself. Be like, I know this is the way I get to this,
yeah.
but I'm gonna be like, you know what? Let's just get to it.
But the funny thing is, it's almost like the jaunting and the abruptness of the next mix
Yeah.
is almost purposely done to make people stop
Yeah.
and be like, "What's going on?"
Well-
and then they hear like Bohemian Rhapsody
Yeah.
from the top.
Yeah,
and,
and you'll play it out.
and there's a difference when that happens as to where if you like kind of mix it and you blend it in. Obviously, that would be kind of like, it would be more musical. But then I see like it's interesting to see how it affects people.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think sometimes the crowd is getting, I don't know. I feel like sometimes they grow up on like maybe their homies DJing, so they're not used to like good technical DJs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a fine line you have to walk between being technical and also playing to the crowd.
Right.
And shout out to DJ Truth on Saturdays at the Blonde. He does a really good job with it. He keeps the room going past 3:00, and then there's a guy that closes, and he plays some similar of the same. And I've been there past 4:00, and that's a lot for me to be at a place when the lights turn on, because usually, I want to be home by that time, or I want to be somewhere else. And for me to be engaged, for my people to still stay there past a certain time, and not be like, let's go somewhere else. I mean, granted, it's not places to go to, but
I'm about to say, at least back in the days, you had to the choice of going to One Oak.
yeah, One
late
Oak,
night,
One
after
Oak,
hours,
mhm.
whatever.
And now it's kind of like you're limited. You're like, nowhere's going to stay open past 4:00.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're there at 3:00, might as well stay there, right?
Yeah.
So wait. So let's talk about Sapphires though, your party,
Mm-hmm.
which is, you've been doing that for like almost 10 years, right?
8 years.
8
Yeah,
years.
man.
September 8th, 2013.
It's Sin Sundays.
Since Sundays, we've
And-
had everybody DJ from. I mean, pretty much. Well, you two.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You.
You've been there.
I've been there.
You've been
Yeah.
there.
Little
On a
John,
Sunday.
yeah.
Sunday is crazy.
I gotta go.
Yeah. I mean, all of our homies have DJ there.
Yeah.
Every celebrity has pretty much been there.
Mhm.
I mean, I was just listening to the podcast, and you said you were there. You were there for the A Boogie night, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was.
So you were there. It was you, me, and Marty Play.
yeah.
I mean, Travis Scott was there. Nelly was there. Trey Songz was there that same night. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing else going on, and when people know it's the party, it's the only real Sunday party going on. Then it's just lying down the block, hip hop police there. I mean,
Damn, the hip hop police.
yeah,
man.
hip hop
Yeah.
police.
Yeah,
man.
but
They're-
like kind of break down, like when you started that party, right? It was very weird to bring nightlife people to a strip club. no?
Yeah, it was a task. When we had a meeting to kind of talk about it, I wasn't like, I didn't see it yet. There was no 11 at the time. So people always like, oh, it's like 11. I'm like, no, man, 11's like us, kind of, if you think about it, right? Like we, Ruben Araneta was the founder of the party, and he brought me in, and we had a meeting with the owner, and Gino was there, and they were kind of selling me on the party, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's try it, right? It was a Sunday, and I walked the room, and I picked my table, and then I mean, I remember just like texting people and like telling people about it, and they're like, you're crazy. It's a Sunday night. You're trying to go to a strip club in the it's not the Upper East Side, but 60th and 1st.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's not an easy sell.
Yeah, because
And
everything's downtown. Everything's
Yeah.
14th.
It's like out of nowhere.
Everything's 14th Street
if you
or
even
below.
if you even do something on 42nd Street in Times Square, they'll look at you funny, right?
I mean, that's,
So
but that's
imagine-
horrible. Yeah.
So imagine trying to take people to 60th Street and First Avenue. You know what I mean? So it was just we had a really good team with us, but I mean, I went out of my way to make sure like we started as an industry party, right? We want to make sure industry supported. So I made sure that everybody from Tao Group, from Butter Group, from Catch, from whatever was going to come and support. I'd be like, I'm going to give you a table. You know, at that time we had access to like sprinters and limos and stuff, and I would just like ask them to send them cars and pick them up. You know, we would do dinners and stuff, right? I would go to Bounce and just like have the promoters just all get into Sprinter. I'm like, yo, you guys are coming. I'm going to get you guys dinner. And I mean, that's how we started. It was very guerrilla. And then it's interesting because people come there now and they see this party with, you know, this celebrity or this, you know, it's packed party.
Yeah.
And they have no idea what it took to like even get close to this party. So, I mean, it's very, I'm proud of it, you know. I'm very, like, I take a lot of pride in that because it wasn't easy, and I'm the only one still there for the party. And, like, you know, Crooked's been there from the start, and you've seen it, so.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's, like, grown so much, but, like, honestly, like, this year, it just became mega.
Yeah.
Where to the point where, like, I would walk to the rope. There'd be some people coming in, maybe, like, 20 or so.
Yeah.
Now when I walk to the rope, I can't even get to the rope.
It's crazy.
It's like it's like I'm in front of like Marquee or Avenue or like One Oak, and I'm like I have to push my way to the fucking front.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck?
We had it like that at a certain point. Like after we got it really started for the first year or two, and then we had like a line down a block, and like, and then people couldn't get in, and then other Sunday parties came up. And they kind of took a lot of our crowd,
right?
And then for a period, it was just kind of like dead. Like, you know, back then we had like Lil Jon, and we would definitely have a lot of you guys and Five and other people from the West Coast come, and Vice would be in there, Ruckus, you name it, right? We had all the top open format guys in that room, and then at some point we just kind of like let it just ride out, and it was, to me, I was not motivated to do that party like pre-pandemic. For the last 2 years I was involved with it, I was like, I'm just gonna come. It's like I was just going through the motions, you know. Like I was like, these DJs that we have, I'm not excited about it. But then when we had the initial discussions this past summer to restart the party, we were like, when do we do it? They were initially doing it in September, and then they're like, what do you think about July? I was like, I'm ready right now. You know, I think if we do it right now, like, it's gonna go crazy.
Well, you cornered the market for like hip hop on a Sunday.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and they've you know, credit to them, they put a lot of money in terms of acts.
Yeah,
they've had Fabulous, Jadakiss, Fetty Wap.
You had Jadakiss before he did the
verses.
Before his rate went up.
Yeah.
Before the verses.
Before his rate went up.
You got him right before.
Yeah, right for his rate. Exactly, right for his rate.
Yeah.
Right for his rate.
He was yesterday's rate.
Yeah,
yesterday's
rate. Ha Fat Joe.
He was literally yesterday's price.
Yeah, he murdered it. You know,
Wait, was it before the first verses he did versus Fabulous, or the one?
It was
before the Dipset one.
No, the Dipset one, right? It was the Dipset one, the big one where he fucking blew his shit out.
Yeah.
The Dipset one.
But Fabulous was actually hosting the same night as him. So, yeah, every night, like every Sunday, it's interesting. I mean, I've, you know, we have celebrities in there all the time.
Yeah, I sometimes when I go in, it's crazy because I remember going in and when it first started, they had these rules for the DJs where like you had to play 3 minutes of a song.
Oh, they don't do that no more.
Wait. So we would have to DJ
for the dancers, right?
Yeah. First of all, we were DJing on the side. We were like in this like off to the side where the lighting guys were, and we were DJing, and we had to DJ 3 minutes for every song because that's how long the lap dances should have been.
Minimal 2 minutes. If you didn't do 2 minutes, the lighting guy will come up to you, or the house mom, whatever it is, they would be like, you're
fucking up. Yeah. So like if you couldn't quick mix, you couldn't do like you had to play the
and
whole
it was
song.
like a set.
It was counterintuitive because like why are we paying these like guys X amount of money
to DJ like an iPod?
Exactly, to DJ like an iPod.
Yeah.
Like it was probably you're just sitting there for like a minute, 2 minutes, be like,
it was cool because they would pay me really well.
You could probably go to the bathroom and like you know have a shot at the bar, come back, switch it, go back. I mean, like
we got fucked up. Yeah,
we got rid of that thankfully because we installed a timer on the screen.
So when you go in the club now, right?
It's a clock.
there's like there's all these screens, like, you know, that's
Yeah.
like LED screens and
Yeah,
shit,
yeah, yeah.
and then there's a little clock on the
Yeah.
side of it that's
It's
like
a-
8
it's a-
minutes.
it's
It
a
counts out
10
every
minutes.
every 10 minutes.
It goes to 10 minutes. And yeah, it's just for the girls to like
reference.
yeah
And
reference the
see how
time.
long they're gonna shake.
Yeah.
And ask for the
Yeah.
reference.
And yeah. Yeah, and I get I get asked that all the time. Be like, "What's that thing?" I was like, "It's for the dancers."
Yeah, because it looks like something's about to happen.
Yeah. It's like some lost shit, right? What's the timer? I'm like, don't worry about it.
Jesus.
But yo, now it's like a crazy hip hop party.
Yeah.
And like yo, it's nuts because it's like usually strip clubs don't let you have your phone out. They don't let you do social media
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
because there's naked shorties
Yeah.
there.
Right.
And, yo, like here it's like you could do.
It's welcome, actually.
Yeah, you
Well,
could, you know?
at 11 they let you do that too. For the most part, if you have a table on the dance floor, they
But
let
isn't
you
that more like a club?
Well,
I mean, it's
Then Sapphire's kind of known as
Yeah.
a strippy, you know?
No, 11 is
Nah,
a
yeah,
strip
11's,
club.
11's, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
11's a
yeah.
strip club in the
Yeah.
middle.
11's a strip club. They
Yeah.
started just doing ill ass fucking parties.
Yeah,
I think
but-
it really blew up when like Drake fucking hosted. I think
That was
Drake
the
did a
beginning
night
of it.
one there, and that was like it was a rap.
Has
after
James
that.
Harden gone into Sapphires?
Yes.
How crazy is that?
Uh,
He's known to be like.
he's been
a
there. I mean,
spender.
everyone's been there. You know, J Balvin's been in there. Like a lot of athletes have been there for sure.
Oh, okay. Because I heard that James Harden used to just blow half of
He's
his paycheck.
he
in
he doesn't
Houston.
drink, by the way.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't drink, but he loves women.
He just loves the strip club.
Loves women.
What athlete doesn't love women?
I don't know.
No,
It's
no,
a broad
James is
fucking
crazy.
statement, guys.
Yeah, James Harden loves women.
Let's start talking about Jordan.
Oh, man.
Pippen.
And Oakley.
These motherfuckers. Let's talk about Pippen. This motherfucker ran
Yeah.
through everything.
All these those.
Your fucking athlete list must be crazy, right? In New York.
Do the baseball players go in there? Because they have the most money.
No, baseball players don't go out.
Oh, okay.
They don't go out. Football players go out. Hockey players go out. Basketball players, not so much because they're so tall. You know what I mean? Like
What
does that
they,
easily
they,
noticed?
they stand out.
Yeah.
They
But I mean,
can't blend in with everyone else.
I remember one time I brought this 7-foot center there, and he wouldn't sit down. He kept on standing up, and he was like
towering.
towering. I'm like, yo,
It's bigger than the pole.
you gotta sit down. Like, and he was so tall that even if you sit down, he was still like pretty tall.
His legs were like up to your chest.
So like guys like that, you got to put in the VIP
So
section so
stupid.
people don't see him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if James Harden's there, he's not in the gem pop. You know,
Yeah.
he's got to be like in the champagne.
Yeah.
I mean, I one time I brought Zac Efron there, and I brought him to my table. And if you know my table, it's in the middle. And I was like, this is not going to work. You know what I mean? Because people started stopping and taking a look at it, like, is that? And then you know what I mean? Like, no, we have to go to champagne. Like, we need security around us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Damn. Wait, yeah, High School Musical in there, bro.
yeah.
It's actually a really like it's a dope party, and I've seen it like grow since like over the past 8 years. Because I even told him like, yo, James, why are you promoting at a strip club, fam? This is a bad look in New York.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
it's
then
it's weird. You change people's perception, and you know, Sapphire probably didn't have a lot of people that used to go there that go there now because of what the party has, you know, done to the place.
it was weird because I would go in the beginning and I would see James with his fucking models at the table
Yeah.
and then strippers, and I'm like, yo, what? This
Yeah.
is weird. This is like, and the models were even a little uncomfortable in the beginning because they're like,
Half naked chicks.
yeah, but obviously by the end of the night they're fucking
Yeah.
buying lap dances
Well,
and shit. But
look,
like,
you know, it's an industry party, right? And the last thing you want to do with an industry party is have it at a club, because if it's at a club, then people think that they're at work. I would feel like I'm at work.
Yeah.
But if you're at a place that's unfamiliar, which is hopefully a strip club, maybe not for
Something
Crooked.
different.
Crooked lives at one. But like, you know, if you had a strip club,
I
right?
used to.
But
Then people automatically feel less like,
They like let
you
down
know,
a little,
yeah, more
let loose a
loose,
little,
right?
yeah.
So when people like, the best thing for me when I go out is just see people have fun.
Yeah.
When I see like, you see the people's eyes and their energy, you're like, this is great. This is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. Just like when you're DJing, you know the crowd is into it. You're like, this is you get a euphoric feeling. And I feel the same way when I throw a dope party and I see dope people there and they're just enjoying themselves. You know.
well, don't you think?
Especially industry people.
But
Yeah.
don't you think New York needed something different like that? Because you would even tell me like, dude, like we would have these conversations and you'd be like, yo, these models and all this younger gen, they don't want to go to fucking nightclubs. They don't want to go to the bottle service spots.
It became like definitely like played out. You know, people like, again, people from our era, when we used to be able to get into places, it was like, yo, you got into that place. It was so cool, right? You
Right.
felt so honored.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, oh, I went there. And then And then slowly somehow it's like, oh, you went to a club? Ew. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but
that's whack.
but don't you think it also had to do with everyone comping bottles and like trying
It,
to get
it got
everyone,
watered
right?
down for sure.
Right?
The market got watered down.
Like, how long ago you think this started happening?
Oof.
Oh man,
5 years?
More than that,
Yeah.
probably.
2012 maybe.
There was a point where I would go back to New York and I'd be like, "This is whack."
Yeah.
Like New York is whack, and I would,
2000.
and the music was whack because all the music was coming from the West Coast
Yeah.
in like the early 2010s,
Yeah.
and New York was not playing those records. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Oh, that's that
And they
Mustard era.
The Mustard era.
2014.
Ty Dolla Sign.
I would
and
go
all
to New
that,
York
yeah.
and I'm like, "Yo, they're fucking behind. They're still playing like PSA, Jay-Z," and I'm like, "This is whack." Yo. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, PSA in
and they're
2014 is
and they're
crazy.
still playing like house songs like "I just came to say hello," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm going." I'm like, I can't wait to get back
I'm
to
hearing
Vegas.
that a lot lately. So
I know that's coming back.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. You're right. It wasn't.
But-
It wasn't creative. Like
And- yeah.
you probably coming back home. You're like, this is whack.
Yeah,
Like,
New York
Yeah.
was behind. I
it
felt like it was
definitely-
behind.
I think it definitely had this period of just nothing creative, right?
Right.
Everyone was just trying to copy like what was cool before, and no one's trying to like
They were-
change it up.
And then New York started copying Vegas, and I think when they started copying Vegas, right,
Big room.
that's when it got played out, and everyone
Yeah.
was like, "I don't want to go to fucking."
Well, I
New
mean,
York
like,
club.
I mean,
I know.
look. There's two things that came from Vegas, essentially, right? Lavo came from Vegas, and the new Marquee came from Vegas, right? Because you remember the old Marquee. The old Marquee was like
yeah,
dark and sexy. It was
Yeah.
like it wasn't, wasn't like it is now. You know what I mean? I mean, not saying whatever. I mean, I feel like everyone needs options, but like for me, like I said, I've always liked smaller New York City rooms, right? I've always loved these Rose bars, the Blondes, the Old Gold Bar. Like these places that are small and you could be tight with who you let in, and again, it is one of those things because when you get in, you're like, oh shit, you got in.
right.
You know what I mean? Like we can say no to people because we can't have that many people in there.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like in essence a New York City place should be. That's the place that I like to be in. That's the place that I like to work at. Because you can go in, you could be like, yeah, like, there's a dope crowd in here. There's good music in here, and like as a DJ, you can play more intimately. I feel like.
Yo, did you guys get any kind of backlash from your following with the you had to show in the vaccine cards and all that kind of
Oh
stuff?
man, yeah. I mean,
Because when I was out there, I was like, damn, like they were really taking this shit serious.
It's,
Like,
I
thank
mean,
God I brought mine. I almost forgot.
Yeah, most places are very strict with it.
Yeah.
Most places are very strict with it. I mean, that's a whole argument.
You have to have your card. You can't like have a
Yeah,
picture.
you
No,
have
you
a
could
picture
have,
of
you
it,
could have
yeah.
a
Okay,
picture of
okay,
it,
all right.
and there's definitely. I mean, how can you?
How do you really
You
police
ain't trying
it,
to
right?
carry that fucking card.
I do know places that like literally you show them your CVS card and they let you in, right? It's just kind of like, look, if you know somebody, you know somebody, or then who's gonna like stop you, right? If you're a guy trying to spend $5K on a table and you don't have your vaccine card, you think they're not gonna take you?
Yeah.
Come on, let's be honest, right? Right?
Yeah.
But like for the most part, they do check,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's a whole discussion whether that's the right thing to do or not. It's like if you're worried about COVID, like, are you really going to a nightclub?
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're like that COVID conscious, are you like worried about every 200 people having like, being vaccinated? You know what I mean? It's like whatever.
Yeah.
I'd rather just file a waiver, be like, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was just shocked that like they were taking
Yeah,
it serious.
they do.
Yeah.
They do
They're
at
not
restaurants for
playing.
sure.
Yeah.
Clubs are a little bit more lenient with it, but like
Mhm.
restaurants, they'll like check your ID. And
Yeah, I
everything.
was
Yeah.
last time I was in New York. I went to a restaurant, and I had a picture of my card on my phone, and it was like, "You don't have your card with you?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "No." Oh, let me think about it. Let me talk to so and so. I'm like, "You serious?"
I was just in New Orleans and I got stuck there because there was a hurricane happening that weekend, and I wasn't vaccinated at the time, and I had a 72-hour PCR test, and I was there with like 1 day in between, and I got a PCR test when I was there, but they didn't give me it in time. They wouldn't let me eat indoors,
Wow.
Oh shit, man.
and I'm like, oh, I just took a test yesterday. I don't have the results. Like
Damn, man.
that's how New Orleans over there they do negative PCR or vaccinated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which again, it's crazy. It's like it should be PCR no matter what.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Vaccinated or not, but I mean that's a whole different.
It's a whole different man. So you were like a homeless Korean man just wandering
No,
the streets
no.
of New Orleans.
Looking for some place to eat.
I don't know if you know, but New Orleans is pretty hot. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Humid as shit. Yeah.
It's
So-
hurricane season.
So you're in Vegas right now.
yeah.
You've been and I was like, I remember like you would hit me sometimes. You would come to Vegas and you would know motherfuckers in Vegas that I didn't even know, And it's like you would book tables. So you book tables in Vegas sometimes. You book tables in Miami.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean,
And then motherfuckers appreciate, because he would come out here, and sometimes he'd get treated better than me. He'd take me to catch, and he'd have like a fucking, he'd have like an $800 meal comped, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't get an $800 meal comped at catch.
you know, there's a lot.
I can't
of,
even
you
get
know,
a drink, a free drink.
You just see what's on the outside. You just see what's on the outside. You don't even know what's happening on, behind the scenes.
That's why I'm asking
you know?
questions, motherfucker. I want to know.
Constantly, like everything, you're just doing things for other people all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like taking care of things for people, whether it's beneficial to you or not, right? If like you're like never, you need like a chiropractor to go to New York. I'd be like, yeah, I know somebody for you. You know what I mean? Like you're just doing stuff like that for people all the time who are in the industry, right? You're just taking care of people, right? So like when you do need something, sometimes, a reservation,
Easier,
a table, a comp table when I'm in Vegas this week, right? I'm in here right now for a trade show, and I'm gonna end up having to take people out, like not every night, but like a couple nights this
While
week.
you're here, yeah.
And the ratio might not be great, and I might get a very low minimum, or I may get a comp table, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they're just giving it to me for no reason, because I've been sending them business, right? Because I've known this guy for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, and likewise, they call me in New York. They're like, yo, I got somebody in Vegas, from Vegas in town, or I have a client in town. Can you like take care of them or send them somewhere or whatever? And I'll treat them like they're my client because of that guy.
Yeah.
Because I respect that guy, because that guy does stuff for me. So again, I mean, it's all like
Relationships.
yeah, all relationships, and that's what I do. Everything I do is relationships.
Yeah, because I've always what do you call it? When you would come over here, I'd always be impressed. Like as you came out here more and more, you had more relationships in Vegas,
Yeah.
and you had more pull. But
I started off again as that guy, just knowing nobody that has to tip somebody to get in the Pure. So I mean,
yeah.
But
I'm saying like you've come a long way to the point where you are now, and I've seen pretty much your whole
the evolution
of
Yeah.
everything, to the point where
yeah,
I
you're
go to
one,
New York.
You're one of the few people that have seen that whole evolution.
Right.
From my beginning days doing the Asian parties to like what I'm doing now.
I remember you did a party. I forgot the venue, and I think Momo was DJing, right?
I've heard this story
Yeah,
a couple of times.
and literally no one showed up all night. And it was like he was like debuting this new Thursday night or something, and I think it was a huge rainstorm, and no one showed up.
Was that Juliet?
I think it was Juliet.
It was Juliet, yeah.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the night,
That might have scarred my mind. Okay.
yeah. And at the end of the night,
We just got shit faced or something. We'll probably go eat Korean barbecue.
But at the end of the night, the manager was like, "Turn on the lights." He's like, "Everyone, give James Hwang a round of applause," because no one showed up.
Wait, that's fucked up.
I remember,
Damn.
and I was like,
man,
I remember.
I'm gonna clip this so I can wake up to this every day. By the way, go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
And then Momo would hit me, like he hit me. He's like, "Dude, I felt bad. Like no one showed up."
Yeah.
And he's like, and James never booked me afterwards. So I felt like he maybe thought I was
Oh.
like bad luck or something. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But it's things like that. Like, yo, fam, like I know your journey. So when I see when shit like that happened back in the day,
Yeah.
and then you've told me this recently. You say every day you think you're so grateful.
Oh yeah, man.
Right?
Like I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but the pandemic was almost like going to jail for a lot of us, right? We had a forced vacation, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like, obviously it was great for them, just like, oh, I don't have to work, right? But us, it was our identity, like it was our purpose. And for me, it was my purpose. Every day I woke up with purpose. Last year I had no purpose, and you have a lot of time to think. You have a lot of time to reflect. You're like, who was I before this? Who am I gonna be when I get the opportunity to be who I want to be, right?
Yeah.
And my whole thing was like, I was complacent just being like good at what I did. I was always like, yeah, I work at this room, I work at this club, I'm one of the better guys around, right? And then I took the pandemic as the opportunity to be like, you know what? I was too comfortable. I was like, I'm not okay with just being good. I want to be great. I want to be better. So I literally, when things started opening up, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run shit now. Like I'm not okay with just being like the second guy in this room, right? I want to be the main guy in this room.
And you're doing it right now.
And I am doing it right. 100% I am. But like,
I mean, he has haters, bro.
I do. I have mad
That's
haters.
when you know
I
that's
have
motivating
mad
you
haters.
doing a good job.
I have mad haters, man.
He has like random phone numbers and random Instagram accounts.
Yo, bro.
Like they're calling you like.
I saw you post
Fuck
something
you,
the other
James.
day.
Yo, man.
I thought that was a joke. Somebody.
No, it's serious, man. I get it on a not a daily basis, a weekly basis. It's like when you're trying to do something, you're doing your own thing, your own lane,
Did you respond back to that
I don't
shit?
respond to nobody. That shit motivates me, by the way. I get motivated by it. It's just like someone doubts you.
Yeah.
I wake up that next morning and be like, all right, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go for a run, right? I'm going to crush this day. That's what I take it as. I take it as a compliment. It's really crazy because, like, I want more people to send me hate. You know what I mean? Like, because you know you're doing the thing.
Yeah.
And you're doing your thing and you're not fucking with other people that want to take from you, right? That's the way I see it. Because, like, I see something and I know what I'm doing, right? And I know what I want to do, who I want to do it with. And other people just want to be involved. And you're like, dude, you're not involved. Like, don't take it in the wrong way, but, like, I'm just doing me with my crew, my friends. And the people get mad offended. It's like, I'm not trying to be involved with you. Why are you trying to be involved? And it's really crazy, right? I guess it's not like, you know, someone who comes out from the hood and, like, gets famous, right? And the UFC people trying to, like, bring them down, right? I'm not saying it's like that, but it's very similar, right? People don't want you to be successful.
Or they don't want you to do they want you to do the same way they're doing. They don't want you to do better.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's they don't want you to be successful. They want you to spread the wealth. They
Yeah.
want a piece of it, and you're not giving them a piece of it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm, you know, I'm gonna say, like, I do what I do, and I'm very particular about how I do it, right? And I don't want, like, just to, you know, when random people come up to me and they want to be, like, with me or whatever, I'm like, yo, like, I'm just, you know, please, like, go away, right?
Yeah. Where was you at the beginning?
And people just get people. Yeah, exactly. I do remember people who weren't there last year, right? People didn't check on you. Didn't, like, yo, Neva, you good? Crooked, you good? D, you good? Right? Jamie, you good? I know people who were, like, checking on me when I didn't have anything to offer them, no access. Because at the end of the day, who was I to a lot of people? I was access. When they needed something, when they needed to go somewhere, when they needed a reservation, when they needed this or that, right? They would call me. And when I had nothing to offer them, I remember those people. And then they hit you up now and you look at the message, be like, 2019 or whatever, right? You're like, get the fuck out of here, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Damn.
get the fuck out of here, you know? Like,
Yo, James is on, like, revenge mode.
Yeah,
No, I see that, man.
But you know what's crazy though? Like,
I gotta give it to you,
I
James.
feel like we could all relate to that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like
hell yeah.
we all went through some dark times, and I felt
yeah.
like July of 2020, like
100%.
no one was giving a fuck about
Last
me.
summer,
like,
man, yeah.
hitting me up to ask where I was DJing. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? No
There you go.
Nothing
no
was
checkup
open.
call.
Nothing
Yeah.
was open last summer.
Like, what am I good for?
Right?
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, when things start opening back up, I'm like, oh, now
There's
you
no
want to hit me.
revenge. There's no revenge. Just like Wasp remembers everyone, I remember everyone too.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
But, you know what I'm saying? Have you seen Carlito's Way?
Yeah.
Yo, John Leguizamo's gonna come. He's
Yeah,
like, yo,
yeah,
Benny from the Bronx.
Benny from the Bronx. So you got to be careful, right?
You're not wrong, and that's something I think about.
You have to let Benny from the Bronx eat. You got to let him eat because when you're on that train,
Yeah.
wait, what's her name? Who's the white chick on? Whatever.
yeah.
Penelope something.
Penelope, I know
Cruz.
that's her name. But
Oh no,
the
Penelope
character-
Miller, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
Penelope
it, but
Miller.
yeah, something
Yeah.
something
It is-
white
no,
like that.
It is Penelope Miller.
Yeah.
When fucking you know
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Carlito's on the train
Yeah.
with Penelope Miller and he
You're-
fucking gets,
it's-
hey, what up? I'm Benny from the Bronx. You're gonna get one of those moments.
Yeah,
fam.
no, you're not wrong, and that's why I always have my boys with me. That's why I leave in a car. I don't walk home no more. I get a car right away. Boom.
Yo, I'm telling you right now,
Sprinter van only.
Escalades only.
James, you're in a good position right now.
Yeah.
And you're doing good things, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen where you came from, so I'm very proud of
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Appreciate
And you're
it.
one of the few Koreans, like, I don't know any Koreans in this industry. So for me,
And we've had talks about
yeah.
this. I mean, I take pride in that.
Yeah.
I take pride in being, Asian American, Korean, and then being able to be doing what I do at the top of the game, right?
Well, the thing is, like, Asian and nightlife. Nightlife is about being sexy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you don't really look at Asian men and be like,
Yeah.
Asian men are sexy, right?
Now.
Yeah, sexy
You know,
now,
but like
Asian
white,
boy
white-
summer.
you know what I'm saying? But like when you look at like, well, you literally look like any other race, like a white dude, a black dude,
Yeah.
a Latin dude. Like there's a sexiness and exoticness, and with Asian, you just kind of be like, like it's a fucking, there's all these stereotypes about Asian dudes.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, people probably think that you're one of my favorite DJs because you're Korean, right? I'm
That's
like,
why,
no.
though, isn't it?
No, but
Oh, he's actually good.
No,
no, but you're
sorry.
actually you're one of the dopest guys around.
No, it's because
Honestly.
I'm Korean.
Yeah,
No.
you have to look out for each other.
You don't really sound Korean, but like, yeah, I mean, like you would never know.
It's because I'm Korean.
Yeah, you gotta look out for each other.
I mean, I was talking to him. I was like, yo, there's nobody else
Nobody else.
in nightlife that's Korean that I know that I could be like. I mean, if I go to LA or like Cali, I'm sure there's a ton of fucking Korean promoters and Asian promoters and all this stuff. Like, not in New York City
Yeah.
and in the epicenter at the highest realm of nightlife, for James Hwang, a Korean dude, to be doing well
Man.
and being
Don't
one
make
of
me-
the top dudes.
Don't make me emotional. Stop it.
No, but I'm saying it means a lot to me, man. Do
Yeah,
you understand?
man. I
Because
appreciate that,
yo,
of
fam,
course.
that's why I brought up earlier talking about where Asians stood in nightlife in New York. I have to make that a point because to have one of the lead promoters in New York killing it right now in New York and having be Asian American and Korean, that's a big deal for me. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So
No.
James, you don't know of any other Asian promoters in New York?
I mean, there's.
I
Ruben was kind of Asian.
Yeah, I mean, he's still around. Ruben's still around.
Yeah.
I mean, this
He
is
was
kind
kind
of
of
Asian.
Asian.
he's Filipino.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still- and- no, and he's an OG. You know,
He's an OG.
I still talk to him here and there.
He
you know,
booked me like way before, a long time ago, when I was still in New York for a few parties and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I
But
love-
he was like a house party promoter. I think he did rehab. He was
yeah, he
promoting
was the
rehab.
owner of rehab, I believe.
Yeah.
He was the
So,
owner of rehab.
but he was more like a house base, and I was hip hop.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
no, I love Ruben. I still talk to him here and there.
Yeah. That's an OG for real.
He is an OG.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, when I look at James and we have that connection, like.
Yeah, it's very
You
hard to. You know what? We're not young guys anymore. It's very hard to stay relevant in a young person's game too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, doing what I do, doing what you do, and yeah, it's very hard. It's not like it just happened, right? It's
Yeah.
been a progression, but you have to stay on top of it. You have to work at it. You have to stay relevant. You know what I mean? Like you have to stay consistent with like what people want. You know, that's why I do go out on nights when I don't have to be out. You know, and thank God for social media because that's a big part of what it is now. Just staying in touch with people, marketing, right?
Yeah.
So
You know what I love is that when he goes out, you know, he always has like a trail of models with
Oh
him,
my
right?
God.
They're
Yeah,
like-
I know that. Yeah.
They're like 6 feet tall
Son.
models, and then he has all of these Asian dudes with him. So it's like James Hwang and these like little Asian guys with him.
they're not little, by the way.
Some of them are
Shout
little.
out Shimon, Jacob, and Sean.
Some of them are little, you know. And so like there's this table of all these 6 foot models,
Oh my God.
and he's like 4 Asian guys, right? So he'll be like he'll text me, he'll be like, you know, come to Blonde, right? And I'm going into Blonde with my homie. I'm like, damn, I don't know if I could find a table. And I see this table of like 4 little Asian guys and like all these tall models, right? And everyone's kind of looking at the table like, who are those guys? Do they run Samsung or like what?
Samsung.
Did they pay for these models? Why are they here?
Did they run Samsung? Is nuts.
You know?
Oh, that's funny.
And he's like yelling at the waitress. And this is when, because like, yo, I've known James for a long time. He's at like a different, like, he's like, I don't know, like, he's like Captain America, Steve Rogers after he took the serum. He's Captain America right
It's
now.
Captain America.
I haven't hung out with that James yet.
Yo, James, his chest is out. You know what I mean? All he's missing is like a shield with like the fucking Korean flag on it. He's telling the waitress, he's like, I'll like come over, and he's like, yo, what up, man? He's like, bring another a bottle of Casa Azul. I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. He's like, bring it anyway. I'm like, yo, what the? I'm like, what the fuck?
Fucking emperor, man.
This is the
New
dude who
James.
used to be like, yo, he's like, here, take this drink ticket. Here.
You want another one?
Here, take these 2, man.
And I'll be with my boys like, yo, he gave me 3 drink tickets. Now he's just handing me
And you gotta go
bottles.
to the corner of the bar instead
Yeah.
of going in.
Oh my God.
Now he's handing me bottles. I'm like, yo, who's this Captain Korean man in the fucking club? With his Asian Avengers around him.
Oh my God, you're too much.
I'm over there like, yo.
Asian Avengers.
Yeah, I'm like sitting over here. I'm like, I guess this is my table. I gotta hang out with the other Asian guys at this table, man. No, but it's good though. It's good, man. But don't forget about Benny
Benny
Blanco for the Bronx.
Benny
Yeah,
Blanco.
don't forget about Benny Blanco, fam.
As
You
long
know what I'm
as
saying?
as long as I have my Asian Avengers with me. I'm
Make
good.
sure everyone eats. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's it. But y'all,
Sure.
I'm very happy to see you obviously this year and connecting with you, and I'm glad we finally got you on the podcast.
Yeah, man.
and shit.
You know, I'm a big fan. I listen to this all the time, and
Thank you, man.
And I'm glad I was able to come here and be a part of it.
Yeah, you would listen to the 5 episode,
Yeah,
the 200.
Yeah,
You were like, that's not the 5 I know. That was a different 5.
Yeah, I think he was intimidated by you, Crooked.
He's not intimidated. I think he was too sober or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows I'm gonna break his balls.
He
a
just
little
had
bit.
come from a run too, so you got him a little winded.
It's the new DJ5, you know.
That's the corporate.
Not the Travis Scott DJ5.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh wow.
5 is like Diplo now, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. He's on some.
He's a working out influencer and all that shit.
Yeah. He's beautiful. He looks beautiful now.
Chiseled.
I love seeing old DJ5 pictures and be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We come a long way.
Old DJ5 throwing up in the garbage can.
Yeah, eating Doritos
Yeah.
and shit.
Eating late night.
Beautiful.
DJing with a cigarette,
Cigarette
Full
in his
long,
mouth,
Yeah.
just chilling, scratching the next song.
Oh man.
What a legend.
Hey, yo, James, thank you for coming through. Is
Appreciate
there anything
it.
else we need to talk about at all? No?
Nah, I think we
covered
covered
it, yeah.
I think we covered everything. I didn't know there's a lot more we could talk
Oh
about.
man, there could be a lot more.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
We didn't talk about the pandemic parties too
No,
much.
no, not too much.
You know.
He's
Leave
quiet.
those. Can't leave those.
All right, man.
Allegedly.
All right, so James, I'll fucking see you in New York, yes?
Yes, sir.
I think November, Thanksgiving weekend.
November 28th.
I'll be back in there.
Yeah.
I'll be Sapphires on Sunday.
sir.
There you go.
Sunday,
My
fun
favorite
day.
spot. My favorite spot. Yo, James, good to see you, brother.
Appreciate
Always,
you.
All right,
man.
James.
Thanks for coming through, man. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.